Hi. Hello. Hi everyone, it's 1 p.m. and as I said at 1 p.m. I'm going to be interviewing Mmusi Maimane. So we're just waiting for him to get online so that our interview can start. Hi everybody. Nice to see you all logging in. Wow. This is fun. I actually love going live on these Instagram live things because I can actually see everybody who's tuning in. And it's actually so exciting when you see nobody tuning in and then all of a sudden just this flood of people. It's really quite exciting. Makes my day. So thank you so much for everybody. I'm sure you're all really excited for this amazing chat. I know Mmusi is quite an amazing guy, so I think it's going to be a really interesting chat, and especially for people with kids. I know the homeschooling thing is pretty tough, but obviously nobody wants to put their kids at any risk. So let's see. Mmusi, you are on, but you've got a request to join the conversation. How do we get him? Let's see. Go live with Mmusi. There you go. I'm becoming so technologically swift with this Instagram. There you are. Hi,
Ah,
how are
super.
you? Lovely to
I
see you.
am
Are you well?
I am strong and yeah, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm strong. I'm healthy. I'm really grateful for all of the, what I have at the moment. Amazing friends and my health. I'm asthmatic, so when COVID, first became a thing, I panicked so much, thinking, "Oh my God, there you go. If I just go and not disinfect my stuff after a Woolworths shop, then that's me finished." So
I
yeah, I
will.
mean, it is
Well, it's
quite.
been a unique time. It's been a unique time for everybody.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. I don't even know what to make of it anymore. I'm so stressed and yeah. Sorry, you
Yeah.
froze there for a second, but I've got you back. Um,
Yeah.
how's your lockdown been? I mean, how intensely locked down are you and your family?
Well, it's been an interesting time in many ways, obviously for us as a family, I traveled a lot in when I was a member of parliament. So it's been good for me to hang out with my kids. It's been good for us as a family. It's also been an opportunity for me to play more football than I've played in a long time. So my son and I have had a great opportunity to catch up. So that's been good. But it comes with its own frustrations, just being able to train on a regular basis and kind of do your own lifestyle stuff. I've missed my parents, I've missed my family broadly, so I haven't been able to see them for a while. So that's been tough. But I've had a great opportunity to also be in communities. We've been able to distribute food to over 5,500 families, and we now have put together just over 500,000 meals. So it's been an opportunity to also engage South Africans at a different level.
Yeah. I want to know a little bit about I mean, when it comes to politics, I'm like Jeannie Geneva. I am so neutral because I really don't know enough about politics to have an opinion. However, you aren't. And I think, you were obviously the leader of the DA, which is now like an ex-wife that you don't want to discuss, but we don't have to go there. You are now, moving on with your career and your life with One SA. What exactly is One SA? What does this movement stand to do?
Yeah, I mean, One SA is a grassroots-based movement. We are all organized around this vision that says we could build a South Africa upon which all people, regardless of race, background, gender, can prosper together and live peacefully together. And we do that by doing three things, really. We are high in the value of activism, and this is a distinguisher between political parties often talk. We want to do things. That's why we will deliver meals to communities. We will go make sure that there's hand sanitizer. We'll activism. The second is the idea of advocacy, and that's why I advocate for the South Africans who are left out in education, because we can't truly have one South Africa when others have got a great education and others don't. So we've got to advocate. And then the
Yeah.
last thing is we want to go out and we want a high value of accountability, whether it's people in public office or in private spaces, we want to be able to hold them accountable. So for us, that is a massive driver. And One South Africa is really a movement for all people in this country. And I'm grateful to have seen how People have become interested. We want to get to 100,000 activists across the country, and all provinces now have some representation. So we're growing across the country to build the South Africa for all.
Well, I have to tell you, you are so loved. I mean, just looking at the comments now on the feed, so many people love you. So many people respect you. But recently, you went on saying that children should not be allowed to go to schools because it's literally gambling with their lives. And I think all of my friends
Sure.
that are parents went, oh, what are you saying? After so like umpteen days of homeschooling, I think everybody just can't wait for schools to open again. But what were your concerns? Why do you not
Yeah.
think that it's a good idea for children to go back to school on the 1st of June?
Look, I'm a parent and my kids go to a public school, so I'll be the first one to go. They need to go to school, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so I hear what many parents are saying, but I think sometimes it would be disingenuous of me not to realize that 80% of the schools in this country are actually dysfunctional.
I know.
The majority of schools in our country don't actually have running water. In fact, many of our schools don't have running water. They don't have sanitation. The Department of Education itself has not been able to deliver PPEs to many schools. And more seriously than that, I know I grew up in the township. It's hard. Kids get transported to school in vehicles that are like sardines. And when I watched the presentation by the Minister of Basic Education, I knew two things. One, it was a rush job. And two, the department has not been able to achieve its own objectives. So now I must sit as a South African citizen and say, whilst it might be easier for some to send their kids back to school, the majority of people in this country would be sending their kids to school to the most dangerous places possible. We have
But isn't
classrooms
it,
of over
isn't it
60.
inevitable? But isn't it inevitable? Because I mean, we can't all stay locked up in our houses forever. So now, what happens when kids do eventually allow? I mean, if it's not now, eventually they're going to have to go back to school. Then what
Yeah,
happens?
sure.
It's going to be like the chicken pox and all of those things. They're going to get it, and then what? What happens to all of those children if that does happen? Because surely that's
Well,
inevitable.
it is inevitable, and all I'm asking for is an additional 2 months or three
Yeah.
months for the Department of Education to get itself ready.
Yeah.
When we do that, we can ensure that at least we can satisfy ourselves that every school has got PPEs, that every teacher has tested, that in fact we can provide alternative transport. It would be true for any business, it must be true for any school. This is about 4 million people. So that's my call, and 100,000 parents on our petition on change.org have said they agree with that because that's what we all want. We want to make sure our kids are safe. So it is going to happen. And what we also know is that just by using basic science, our growth rate has been at about 5% per day. So we're projecting that at least in terms of cases, we will hit closer to 1 million, probably in August or so. So what we want to do is be as most protective of our kids as possible. I'm a parent. I know that my most prized possession, if I can call them my possession, is my kids. And I wouldn't want them to go anywhere that would be unsafe for them. But the
Yeah.
last thing I'd say, Jenny, is without trying to belabor this point, is that we have a great opportunity now. We have an opportunity not only to fix our schools, but to make sure kids can participate in the digital economy, prepare kids for the future. This is the best opportunity we've got right now to do so. Let's use it to its
What
maximum.
should have been done in this time of COVID, in this time of our lockdown? What should have been done to schools to get them COVID ready? Like, what does a COVID ready school look like to you? Like, in terms of social distancing, are
In
they all wearing masks? Are they wearing shields? Are they sitting far apart from each other?
we should have already created a different curriculum for this year so that we're not putting people under pressure to try and complete the curriculum for this year. We should ensure that every school has already been fully sanitized. Despite what's been happening, we want to make sure that that's in place. We want to make sure
Yeah.
that every child has at least got 2 masks, and we want to make sure all teachers are able to be tested. We also want to avail much more facilities. So schools, we need to be able to use satellite spaces so that we decongest our classes so that there's no massive concentration of classrooms to 60 to 90. So already a COVID-ready school would be a school that's already availed more facilities, made sure all their testing can be done and will be done, that they've all got their PPE equipment, and that every child at least has an opportunity to move into a digital platform. That's what we've got to be, because we're trying to address a history
Digital
of our
schooling
country.
is huge. Digital schooling is huge. I mean, I've just signed up. I'm going back to school and I'm starting a course on Monday. But children need socialization. Like there was a friend of mine who said that her 3-year-old thinks that the vacuum is his best friend. So I feel so sorry for kids that are only children and that aren't around other children during this time. Don't you think? I mean, what is the Center for Infectious Diseases and all of that said? Don't children kind of build up immune systems to these things if exposed to it from a young age?
The truth of the matter is that around COVID, we don't know. We don't know enough. This is a new thing. And therefore, ultimately, what we've seen is, and we can make some inferences, is that while kids may be carriers, they become asymptomatic. And until we have antibody tests, we'll only then be able to definitively say that kids actually carry antibodies for the virus. But we don't know that yet. And so, frankly, you are taking a gamble in information we don't know. And when we talk about grade 12s, who are the first ones to go back to school on the 1st of June, we're talking about 16, 17, 18-year-olds. I was
Yeah.
16 in
They're
matric,
going to
so
want to kiss.
that, you know, yeah.
They're going to want to be in
Not only
contact
kissing,
with each
but
other.
yeah,
I was just thinking of what I was
they'll
like when,
generally be symptomatic. Ah,
yeah,
there you
that
go. Yeah.
You know, I'm really in two minds and very divided when it comes to a topic like this, because I think for a lot of children in South Africa, going to school isn't only just about education. For some kids, it's about going to school to get the one meal a day that they're not getting at home. It's about being away from abusive situations. So I'm really, my heart goes out to the majority of kids in this country that aren't able to have enough safety, protection, and food at home, and they need it at schools. So I mean, what is the answer? We just keep kids back for the
Yeah.
next few months?
And I know that without a shadow of a doubt, our communities are often unsafe for kids.
Yeah,
I accept that, but what we shouldn't do is make two wrongs a right. What we
yeah,
shouldn't say is, well, our kids at home are unsafe, so let's send them to an even unsafer place, which is a school, where they can get a virus and then end up back home in the afternoon, where they have to deal with not only that, but other dangers. So I would urge that we should have a program. And I think education is the easiest way for us to be able to feed communities because we've got the kids' details, we know where they live, we can partner with distribution centers and make sure we're putting food in kids' homes. It's actually the most ideal way we can do it. Let's give ourselves 2 months to be able to aggressively make sure our classrooms are safe so that there's that interaction. They can come into a community of their own, but that is safe. And that let's build for the future. Until such a time as we can relax all these measures about PPEs, etc., would only come through when we've got vaccines, which will probably be about 18 months from now or hopefully a little bit less than that. But until then, we have to take every precaution possible, and we have to make sure that as parents, we safeguard what is enshrined in the Constitution, which is the rights of a child trump any other need. You
yeah,
know.
that is beautiful. I certainly hope that throughout this entire experience, the what children take from this is a time that they get to spend more time with their families and they forget the stress of it. They just remember the pleasure and the joy of it. And I think there's also a lot of children that will benefit from one-on-one tutoring with their parents that they maybe wouldn't get in a classroom.
Yeah,
Sounds like your kids are getting very good education
completely. I've
at
loved
home.
hanging out with my kids.
Exactly.
No,
Um,
we've loved having them. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure. Just going back to one movement, how can people get involved and what do you need for this movement to take place?
We need as many South Africans. As I said, we want to try and get to 100,000 activists across, and it's for everybody. It's
Yeah.
apolitical. We've had great sports stars come on board.
But
We've
one
had
minute, it's
great
not a
South Africans
political
come on
party,
board.
it's a movement.
No, it's a
Okay.
movement. And so anybody can participate. You can go on to www.osa.org.za and there you can pick up as details about how you can participate. But also, I want people to be activists in their communities. Like all of us must own our streets, we must own our neighborhoods, and we must be able to say, if a school is not working, let's get together and go do something about it. If our businesses are suffering, let's build a network that we can support businesses because together we can prosper to build this one South Africa. That's the power of the brand. And many South Africans have come on board and said, hey, we're with you in this regard and we'll pursue it going forward.
Yeah. Interesting question we've just gotten. Do you think the minister is going to accept your proposal?
I think already she's finding that parents are not with her. The unions just released a study today that indicates that more than anything, the schools, only 79% of the schools are not ready. That's what they're arguing. So in truth, I
Those
think
unions,
with the petition, with the argument,
yeah,
I don't
sorry,
often agree with them, but now they're making a point, and I'm saying together now, let's ensure that actually we must accede to this request by parents to get ourselves ready, give ourselves 2 months, get beyond the peak of August, and actually then we can put a proper curriculum and make sure our kids are safe. And I think I've written to the Department of Basic Education, I've written to the Department of Higher Education, and if they don't agree with us, we're open to litigating against them, because I think that actually we must safeguard our kids.
amazing. Thank you very much. Great chatting to you. And of course, education, in my opinion, is the most important thing in the world. I'm going back to school on Monday, and with the university that I'm doing it with, I'm doing a scholarship to give a bursary to three kids that need the opportunity. So let's learn together, and that keeps safe, I
You're a
suppose.
champion. You're a
Thank
champion.
you
I'm
so
also studying, so I'll see you on the
What are you studying?
textbooks.
What are you
I'm doing
studying at the moment?
I'm doing a PhD in microeconomics at local government level. So that's what I'm busy with, and I have to work harder than I have before. So
Yeah, I'm just doing a digital marketing course, not quite a PhD, but I'm scared because I don't think I know how to study anymore. I haven't done it in so long, but it's going to be a good challenge.
yeah, we can work together. No,
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be a fun study group.
okay.
Do you think you're ever going to run for president? I think that so many people on these chats have been asking, on the comment section. Do you think you'll run for president?
Sure. I
Sure.
love this country, and if I can serve it in any way, I'd be willing and ready. And I think that we love our country. All of us must be able to stand up. But the position is secondary to the job, right? The job
Yeah,
is the job actually is about building a country, and all of us can do it.
exactly. Thank you so much for chatting to me. I won't take up any more of your time. I hope you have a wonderful day further and stay safe.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. All right.
Ciao.
Bye.
And of course, thank you so much to everybody else who's tuned in. Of course, I will have this up and loaded on my Instagram, Twitter, all of the above. Thank you very much for being part of this, and we love you all. Have a gorgeous afternoon. Bye.